Please rise. Good evening, and welcome to the Class of 2021 Winter Commencement Ceremony for North Muskegon High School. I stand before you all as the proud principal of the 86th graduating class this evening. Before we begin, I ask that you please silence your phones, and while you're doing that, I would like to invite Daughters of American Revolution Award winner Georgette Kurzman to the podium to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You may be seated. Thank you, Georgie. It's only fitting that a day like today would finish off a year like we've had, but at least it's not snowing yet. Tonight's program has been planned and organized by elected officers and representatives of the senior class. On their behalf, it's my pleasure to introduce you to our platform guests. Please hold your applause until all have been recognized. Dr. Kurt Babcock, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. Will Meyer, Board of Education President, and Mr. John Allen, District Curriculum Specialist. I'd also like to introduce the remaining board members seated in the audience. Dr. Mary Moulton, Board of Education Vice President, Ms. Carolyn Nadeau, Board of Education Secretary, Mr. Stephen Bliss, Board of Education Treasurer, and Board of Education Trustees, Ms. Susan Burmeister, Ms. Lisa Winters, and Mr. Ben Shear. At this time, I would like to invite Mr. Meyer, Board President, up for a few comments.
Thank you, Ken. On behalf of the North Muskegon Board of Education, I would like to welcome all of the students, parents, family members, friends, teachers, administrators, and others here tonight to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2021. We have a new school board member this year with a graduate who is speaking, so I'll keep my introduction brief. Although I am not from North Muskegon, it is my home, and I am proud of our school and our community. I've been asked many times what makes North Muskegon such a good school, and the answer, of course, is the people here today and in this town. This year, we have seen the benefits of living in a community like North Muskegon. I would like to thank the teachers and administrators for their efforts over the last year in the face of unprecedented challenges. Your creative solutions and hard work enabled us to provide a first-class education to our students. I'd also like to thank the parents and other caregivers here today. A successful remote and hybrid education would not have been possible without your sacrifices and dedication. Finally, our students, and especially our seniors, deserve special mention. You have not only handled this difficult situation in a manner that has made all of us extremely proud, you had fun and made memories for a lifetime. Congratulations. I am now pleased to introduce our next speaker. Ben Shear grew up in North Muskegon, left for some unknown reason, finally realized the error of his ways, and has returned home. We're glad he did. Ben?
Thanks, Will. Welcome, North Muskegon graduates, parents, faculty, friends, esteemed staff. Thank you for all attending today's graduation ceremony for the North Muskegon High School class of 2021. As a newly appointed board member and recent reacquiree back into North Muskegon, and also proud parent of a graduate, I thank you not only for the opportunity, but the honor to say a few words at this momentous occasion. As I prepared for this speech, first by gathering my thoughts and writing a few things down, it started to look like a list, so I decided to run with it. So here's my class of 2021 top 4 list of things to contemplate as recent high school graduates. Number 1, and we've heard this over and over in the various assemblies and awards assemblies and baccalaureate throughout your graduation to this point, right? So number 1, embrace your community. After returning to North Muskegon 2 years ago from a 20-plus year hiatus, I was excited to introduce my 2 children to a community that that they've only previously known from both summer visits to grandma's and also with our friends and families, but the community that I grew up in with fond memories from my childhood. Being away, darn wind. Let's make this happen. Being away for several years, I had almost forgotten how powerful and magical a strong community foundation can make, and has made in both our lives and in the treasured school system. This was even more apparent to me given that we had the opportunity to step away and reconnect after several years. North Muskegon represents a community that is very unique in its own way. These are attributes you will remember and carry on with you for the rest of your life. Whether you decide to remain here in North Muskegon, go elsewhere, or even decide to return someday. Number 2, explore. Take this opportunity after high school to explore. Explore your education, explore the world around you, explore our rich culture and those of our neighbors and friends you meet along the way. You don't necessarily have to travel extensively or live in a distant place, but by experiencing something new and different, this can open up a whole new perspective in life and experiences. Your education and opportunities at North Muskegon have given you the tools to explore and learn. You will find this meaningful in your own way. Number 3, make thoughtful decisions. At first contemplating calling this make good decisions, but this is not about what is good or bad, or even if you know as much when you're making a life decision. Your decisions define you, and in some cases for the rest of your life. This is why a well-thought-out decision, which is not always easy, can define your future path. Think of it this way. You've already made the decision to graduate. Let's make this a great example of a thoughtful decision. Do you remember when you were first introduced to social media? Maybe a teacher or a parent said, be careful of what you post. This will follow you for the rest of your life. Same goes for your decisions. You've made a lot of them this year, even up to this point. You are making decisions on your plans after high school. Maybe an education, the military, perhaps a gap year, even your summer job, or how to get the most beach time this summer. Remember, many of your decisions will follow you for the rest of your life, but don't be discouraged or even stressed if they don't always go as planned. This is where I talk about my last point. Don't be afraid to fail. Think of failure as an opportunity to explore. Remember point number 2? In innovative businesses, we embrace the concept that you should not be afraid to fail. In fact, many top innovative organizations have built their philosophy and cultures around this. Why, you ask? Isn't failure bad? On the contrary, taking risks and failing allows you to understand and learn from your mistakes and be more innovative and do better next time. Remember that test you thought you could ace without studying? Well, at NM, you were given the opportunity to fail, but learn from your mistakes and ultimately do better. What a powerful learning experience. Trust me, I've certainly had my share of failures, but I've used those to my advantage and towards all my subsequent successes. A good example of innovative failure, of course, is from the vacuum cleaner inventor James Dyson, where he declared the importance of failure in one's life, quote, "I made 5,127 prototypes of my vacuum before I got it right. There were 5,126 failures." You'll be given a lot of advice along your life's journey, and you have the opportunity to choose what you want to follow. But you'll also be given the opportunity, as well in some cases forced, to figure out things on your own. Hopefully my top 4 list will contribute in some way to the life skills that allow us all to be successful and happy, but also give you some things to think about as you enter that next stage of your life journey. Again, I am very proud to be a parent to an NM class of 2021 graduate, as well as proud of all of you, especially having to navigate the unprecedented complexities of this unconventional school year. Be proud to be part of the Norse Nation for life. Congratulations, class of 2021.
Thank you, Mr. Shear and Mr. Meyer. At this time, will the senior orchestra members join the rest of your group for the seniors' final performance? Let's all enjoy our orchestra under the direction of Miss Angela Corbin as they perform St. Paul's Suite, followed by a combined performance with our high school choir performing Be a Light.
There ain't much difference between you and me. Time for war and peace. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark. You were born to shine. The place that needs change, make a difference. In a time for yours, just listen. 'Cause life is what it breathes, better live it. In a place that needs a change, make a difference now. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. You were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. La 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 la. In a race you can't win, slow it down. Yeah, you only get one go around. 'Cause the finish line is 6 feet in the ground. In a race you can't win, just slow it down. In a world full of hate, be a light. When you do somebody wrong, make it right. Don't hide in the dark, you were born to shine. In a world full of hate, be a light. Yeah, it's hard to yeah, it's hard to
Thank you, Ms. Corbin and Ms. Slimko. It's refreshing to hear kids making music again. I'd like to take a brief moment to thank all the staff members that are present this evening and what will go down as history as the most difficult 18 months in education. You provided stability, compassion, understanding, and hope. Thank you for being a safe harbor for our kids. I'd also like to acknowledge the efforts of Mr. Jim Bozell, Victor Brenning, Lori Ripstra, Brooke Dombrowski, Paul Henderson, and Chuck Wall for all of their behind-the-scenes work in making this day happen. Thank you. And now for the really important people. Your first student speaker this evening is Ms. Sarah Muzzy.
Wow. Good evening, everyone. Before I begin my speech, I'd like to take a moment to thank my brother Carter for dealing with me the past 16 years, always giving me honest advice, and for life-changing rides to McDonald's. Thanks to my dad for giving me unwavering support over our weekly FaceTime calls, and now Zoom call, and for believing in me more than I did in myself. Sorry. I would also like to thank my mom for raising for raising my brother and I these past 10 years, for making me laugh like no one else, and for being my best friend. Oh my God. Really sorry. Mom, I don't know how I'm going to live my life without you downstairs every day next year. I love you all so much. Now, North Muskegon, students, families, and staff, I am more than honored to be standing before you today to celebrate the class of 2021. I'd like to remind you all that today is Friday, and that is a beautiful thing. I'm sure that most everyone here can agree, in one way or another, that North Muskegon is a special place. It's a place like no other, fostered by the no-windowed classrooms and functional bathroom stall locks and paper towel machines, and the occasional sounds of nature we get from the tranquil ceiling drips. They all make attending North Muskegon, well, a special experience. But I believe what makes our school and city great are the people within. Up until this past year, I heavily questioned why generations of families continue to raise their own here. But with reflection, I've begun to understand why. Well, kind of. We are great on paper, that's no question. With a consistently festival-winning choir and orchestra, state-ranked baseball, volleyball, tennis, and soccer team, and newly regional winning basketball team. Like, sheesh! But the greatness that all of these have stems within the students, coaches, and our community. So class of 2021, what makes us great? What does being great even mean, and when does greatness begin? That's a deep question I have yet to answer, but just like I believe and hope you all have, I'm beginning to discover. Maybe our greatness began as a class in Discovery Kindergarten when most of you all first arrived. Actually, I think it started in 2nd grade because what was this class without ceremony? In 3rd grade, our academia and life started to get real. The first social hierarchy our grade had was created in pool school. The Basinski Bucks, Fort Myer Fun Bucks, and Cutler Cash brought out some people's conservative side, competitive side, goody-goody side, and who would our class be without a little bit of stealing? Mystery still unsolved as far as I know. 4th and 5th grade brought closer friendships and preparation for what we expected to be real life in middle school. I'm not sure about the rest of you, but I knew we needed to start taking life seriously when we were singing Happy by Pharrell on stage at our 5th grade graduation in our homemade tie-dye shirts. Middle school was flat out awkward for most of us. Real relationships began in 6th grade. You know who you are. And how I miss when rumors of couples holding hands was the big thing. Maybe you started to find your greatness on the 7th grade volleyball team. Shout out Mr. Wall. Basketball or track team. Maybe you found your greatness by impersonating Stanley Steamer, wearing a SpongeBob sweatshirt and white filas every day for weeks on end, competing with the Jags, or dragging your half-sunken canoe out of the river at Camp Pendaluan. In 2017, we started our freshman year of high school. Although it saddens me to say, I feel as though we will remember high school simply as the COVID times. But before COVID, we got to bond, testing our individual and collaborative greatness as the flag was thrown over the line to bring victory and capture the flag, or as we got pummeled in dodgeball at Grace Adventures. We obviously can't forget being Powder Puff champions our junior year, as I still reflect on that as a moment of greatness we all shared. COVID put us all through a time we never experienced or ever expected to experience. The months of isolation from each other degraded the greatness of the connection we were beginning to grow. But we all, well, most of us, still found ourselves on Google Meets at 9 a.m., attempting to continue life as it had become. While leaving off our computer cameras seconds after some of us woke up became the favorable norm after the first week, that didn't stand true for all virtual meets going forward. This fall, some of us became more comfortable with showing our true morning routines on the Google Meet, some more than others. Yet all of this has led us to now. Now we leave each other, for some our families, the same hallways and classrooms we have been in for the past 4,380 days to try and find ourselves and our greatness. There are many conflicting and misconstrued ideas of how to be great. Some think you simply need to be smart to have potential, like just put all the smart people in the room and let them figure it out. Maybe you think you need a lot of money, but you don't have to be making it rain in Benjamins everywhere you go to have greatness. Or what about fame? Famous is relative, but if you want to know how to start, just ask Mr. Caraba. His famous YouTube side job is more than great. While each of these few traits I've listed may contribute to an individual's greatness, there is no correct answer. Everyone has their own definition of this polysemic word. My advice to you is to find what fulfills your heart, inspires you, motivates you to get out of bed, and follow it. Create your own vision. Your life is now truly and legally yours. As we move on to the next chapter of our lives, whatever that may be, I hope you have the desire to be great. Have grit. Push yourself. Listen to your peers and advisors, but most importantly, to yourself. Don't get caught up in the social image or people pleasing. Surround yourself with others who challenge you, others who make you proud. Push your boundaries, physically, mentally, and/or spiritually. Be kind. Hold the door for a stranger. Call your nana, grandpa, or Aunt Karen. Give a verbal appreciation to your teacher, or if you don't want to say anything at all, mail a corn dog to your friend. Being great can be as simple as smiling at someone in the hallway who then may pay for the car behind them in the drive-thru, and so on. It doesn't have to be curing cancer or having the perfect GPA. A known fact that I believe is often forgotten by millennials is that the world has been changed by ordinary people. While we may be currently labeled as just another graduate or basic, those words virtually have no meaning to me. While a significant part of our lives has come to an end, an even bigger door has now opened. Once we turn our tassel, step through that door, I believe that there is no better time to begin being great than now. I truly believe that each and every one of you sitting in front of me has that potential, and how you may choose to use it is up to you, but I hope that you all do. No one else knows what they're doing either. Everyone starts somewhere, and I hope that North Muskegon and the people sitting beside you have cultivated that spark. Class of 2021, growing up with all of you has been a privilege. This moment hasn't felt real to me until now, as I'm standing in front of all of you. I do believe it's true that it's hard to find the value in something until it's gone, but how lucky I feel to have you all to appreciate. Thank you for a high school experience I will sincerely miss. Remember, you don't have to be great to start, but you have to start to be great. I wish you all the best. Thank you. I am now honored to introduce a future Otto. As a best friend of mine, I feel more than privileged to have grown up with, laughed with, and learned from her. She has made me feel fortunate that the awaited goodbye will be so difficult. Please welcome Hope Johnson.
Hi, everyone. The first day of our junior year was spent dancing and singing along with the entire student body to a concert taking place in our gymnasium. The first day of our senior year, I entered through the senior hallway doors where, ironically, there wasn't a senior in sight. I arrived in my classroom where I would spend the whole day to reunite with 14 other seniors that I would essentially spend my whole year with. I've always been someone who enjoyed going back to school, reuniting with friends, the excitement of sporting events, and North Pride. I never expected that the first day of my senior year would be one of disappointment. Looking back on this year, I recognize all the good that came out of it. The memories that stand out to me are now of the countless hurdles that were thrown at us. They are throwing our own fake homecoming dance, which we called FOCO, watching a football game from behind the fence on the baseball field, eating lunch actually in the cafeteria with my cohort, playing Uno between classes in our new 10-minute passing time, and setting up a maze in AP Bio and blindfolding each other with masks to attempt it. Some of these may seem simple or odd,
But if there's anything this senior class has grown to know, it is to appreciate the little things. You all know the saying that if life gives you lemons, make lemonade. This year isn't everything we wanted it to be, but we squeezed every drop out of those lemons to make this year one that we won't forget, not just because of the global pandemic, but because of the highlights that outshined it. This year, we've all come to realize how much we've taken for granted. Parents and family, I wish you all could have been in the cafeteria that last week of February. You'll never believe how much excitement there was to finally get in to eat in the cafeteria, and guess what? See people from other cohorts at school. I've always been a student who says math class is my favorite part of the day, but I now, without a doubt, join the group whose favorite class is lunch. Never take for granted the opportunity to connect with other people, get into deeply heated conversations with your friends, and have friends you're close enough with to act like you're still in 5th grade together, like throwing those tiny baby tomatoes that came in the school lunches across the cafeteria to bombard the other islands of cohorts. The most important thing that I've taken away from this year is to be grateful for what I have. Make the most of what you have while you have it, and if you lose it, make the best of your new situation. I am grateful that, with the addition of the gold cohort, I had the opportunity to get closer with the group of 29 students than I ever would have in a normal year. I've left this year with stronger friendships than I entered with. I'm grateful to be able to learn and work in an in-person setting. None of us enjoyed trying to focus on our virtual classes while being anxious about making sure we are muted and had our camera off while we made lunch during 3rd hour. With that, I'm grateful for having such amazing teachers who put so much effort into our learning. Mr. Jarvis, although none of us would turn our cameras on for you in 1st hour, we were listening, most of us in bed having just woken up, but I promise I had my packet by my side. Lastly, I'm grateful to have had an experience that taught me not to take things for granted. I never again want to find myself complaining when there are so many little things that I wouldn't trade the world for. We have a lot to be grateful for through 13 years. We've gone on tens of field trips, buried a time capsule, won countless academic and athletic awards, and been surrounded and supported by wonderful parents and teachers along the way. There's so many teachers that have impacted us in a lot of great ways. We're grateful for Mr. Shanehalls for teaching us how to have important and difficult conversations, for Mr. Wall and Mr. Caraba for teaching us the true meaning of friendship, and for Miss J for teaching us that even if something is hard, to keep trying. As much as many of us are rushing out of here, ready for the next chapter of our lives, I think it's important to be grateful for everything and everyone that has gotten us thus far and prepared us to take the next step. Seniors, we've encountered the most difficult year of high school in the most difficult circumstances. It's bittersweet for me to say that we've reached the light at the end of the tunnel, but I'm proud to say that we have. As we head our separate ways next fall, please keep in mind to be grateful for the experiences and people you have and to make the most of every opportunity in front of you. Jump at that internship opportunity. Strengthen your friendships. Study harder. Because as we saw this year, any of those things can be gone in the blink of an eye. I'm grateful for the past 13 years of memories that I've gotten to make with you all at North Muskegon. Grateful for the relationships that I've built, and especially grateful for having you all by my side to go through this year with. Thank you for growing with me and making memories. I'm beyond excited to see how far you will all go. With that, go North. I'm now honored to introduce the next speaker, a student who it has been a privilege to learn and work alongside and who I'm confident will go on to do amazing things, Brennan McManus.
As a small school, the experience of a typical North Muskegon student varies greatly from that of a student at another school. One of the greatest benefits that I'm sure all of the class of 2021 can attest to is the tight-knit atmosphere that is ingrained in the North Muskegon community. Regardless of how introverted or extroverted you may be, everybody is somebody at North Muskegon. Take myself, for example. For those of you who don't know me, I am definitely not the most outgoing person. In fact, if there was a mock election category called Most Shy, I probably would have been a front runner. In spite of this, I have never felt unwelcome or like an outsider at North Muskegon. This just goes to show exactly how close-knit the North Muskegon school and community is. No matter who you are, people will go out of their way to make you feel at home and comfortable. One of the most evident examples of how close the North Muskegon community is has to do with the relationships between the staff and students. Almost everyone knows everyone's name, even if you may not have talked to them before or had them as a teacher. As a result, the relationships that we are able to form between our classmates and teachers are excellent. If we ever need help, regardless of whether we are a former or current student, or whether we have had a class with them or not, we know that we can go with them with whatever is going on, and they will be able to help guide us into making good decisions. No matter what path we choose, no matter how far away from home these paths may take us, we know that we will always be welcome back at NM, where we will be free to walk the halls or help out at a practice. The North Muskegon community is always strong and supportive, and because of that tends to draw people back to the area. Take, for example, a home sporting event. You will almost always see at least a few Old Norsemen in the stands cheering on their alma mater. Consider this. How many times do you see the familiar face of a North Muskegon alumni walking around town? I'd guess that it would be pretty difficult to ride your bike from one end of town to another without encountering at least one other person you are familiar with. Regardless of where my future may lead me, I know that I'll be always welcome and supported back here at NM. I would like to take this opportunity to thank those who have helped to make this close-knit and nurturing community possible. I would like to thank the entire North Muskegon staff for going above and beyond to give us a safe and nurturing environment to learn and develop. I think I speak for all the class of 2021 when I say that your efforts are a big reason why we are who we are today. I would also like to thank the North Muskegon community members for always showing up for us, whether it is a musical performance, fundraiser, or athletic event. We as Norsemen always knew that we could rely on the North Muskegon community for support. Finally, I would like to thank the entire past and present North Muskegon student body. I always felt welcome and accepted at North Muskegon, and I think that every Norseman would agree that we helped each other get through the ups and downs of the last 4 years. So, as we all branch out on our own journeys, we will inevitably encounter new obstacles that we could not have predicted. And the feeling of no longer being a big fish in a small pond may come off as a shock as we venture into the real world. However, one thing that we know for certain is that North Muskegon will always have our backs. We are, and always will be, Norsemen. Thank you. And now, for our next speaker, please welcome Roanna Pollock.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to begin by thanking the Odawa and Potawatomi tribes for stewarding these lands we are gathered on. This area was inhabited, not discovered, and I'm honored to be speaking here today. I'd also like to acknowledge the many people who have helped me to get this far. To all my teachers, especially Mr. Ripstra, Ms. J, and Mrs. Corbin, thank you for sparking my interest and helping them grow. I know all of us sitting here as students have at least one teacher to thank for shaping us into the people we are today. I encourage you all to let that person know the impact they've had on you. To my parents and siblings, thank you for being my brain dump outlets and sources of inspiration. Thank you to my friends who gave me a safe space to be misfits together. And to you, class of 2021, my companions on this journey, congratulations. We made it through the year, and what a crazy year it has been. I mean, what other graduating class not only enjoyed, but also specifically requested to be physically present in the classroom? But in all seriousness, we've had to deal with social distancing, masking, Google Meets, canceled events, changed plans, and a general atmosphere of uncertainty. All the while, our country and the world face crisis after crisis and loss after loss. A charged election and impeachment, an economic recession, the Australian wildfires, the murder of George Floyd and the subsequent trial, a spike in acts of racism and hate crime. Oh yeah, and a global pandemic. Checking the news became the thing to do when you just felt too happy and needed a quick spiral into frustration and helplessness. I don't know about you, but I had several days when all I wanted to do was stay in pajamas, eat comfort food, and play Among Us. I barely had the mental capacity to get dressed and check into class, and I certainly didn't feel like I had enough energy to follow the news cycle. It was so easy and tempting to just shut down and shut the world out. But it was in those times that I thought of what my grandparents would say. My grandparents were a comedic duo who liked to find humor in everyday life. Out of the blue, my grandpa would remark, "I think the two biggest issues in the world right now are ignorance and apathy. What do you think?" And without missing a beat, my grandma would reply, "I don't know and I don't care." The beauty of their humor was that it allowed them to comfortably confront the uncomfortable truth, and they were absolutely right. It's impossible to fix a problem if we don't acknowledge and value its existence. And I think inherently most of us know this to be true. Why then do we persist in turning a blind eye to the issues and injustices around us? I believe it is because the perspectives we bring and the lenses we use to analyze the world are missing critical aspects. When I was young, I loved 3D picture books, especially the ones with sharks. I remember one time when I tried to look at the pictures without the tinted glasses. It was a mess of overlapping lines, blurred colors, and it became a headache-inducing experience. But as soon as I put the glasses back on, I could see clearly. While it's not a perfect analogy, I think it's quite similar to taking in the news. Many of us find it chaotic and painful to confront local and global events head-on, so we look away. What we lack are the lenses of humility, empathy, curiosity, and compassion that allow us to see the three-dimensional beauty of nuance. We get so caught up in understanding an issue that we forget to understand the people. We take shortcuts to make life easier, seeing in binary terms, picking sides, making prejudgments, but these only result in cutting out the complexities and subtleties. In the end, we've cut out so much that we can't truly see each other, connect with one another, care for each other. Without nuance, we can only see the chaotic, confusing sprawl of two dimensions, but it doesn't have to be this way. We can choose to change our perspective, and we can choose to see past the binaries. Seeing nuance keeps us from discrediting something simply because we have not experienced it. It's what allows us to look at fellow humans and believe them when they say they are hurt. It's the thing that transforms inquisitors into empaths and skeptics into advocates. A person with nuance can say, "I don't know what that is like, but I believe you." Nuance keeps us from making snap judgments and assumptions without investigation. It's what lets us say, "I don't know and I may never know, but I will keep looking for answers because what impacts you is important to me." And in our journey to find answers, nuance keeps us from sifting through the news and cherry-picking examples that validate our preconceived opinions. Nuance gives us the power to hold two pieces of seemingly contradictory evidence because we can finally see beyond black and white, past the clean-cut binaries to the multicolored spectrums and even the most polar paradox. We may be uncomfortable with what we see, and it may not make complete sense, but we can finally see the full three-dimensional picture and begin to understand it. And I acknowledge that I'm asking a lot of us to step into this space of vulnerability and see the world as layered and complex. And to do it over and over again, because this is not a one and done process. Nuance is a lifestyle that we must consciously opt into every day. Every morning we can choose to put on these lenses and stay curious, humble, and empathetic. The initial discomfort may feel as illogical as investing in cryptocurrency, but this is an investment that guarantees payoff. When we see issues for what they are, see people for who they are, the good, the bad, the complexities, the nuance, we take the first steps towards understanding, and we can begin to make things better. We can find nuanced solutions and build true unity, not based around our sameness, but in the interplay of our many colors and dimensions. So, class of 2021, as we turn the page to the next chapter of our lives, whether it's to university, the working world, trade school, the military, or your parents' basement, I challenge us to observe and act out of humility and compassion, keeping our eyes open, our hearts soft, and our arms willing to embrace the beautiful, layered, three-dimensional nuances of life. Thank you.
How about a final round of applause for all of our student speakers? Those were excellent. Senior Norse singers, please join the rest of the choir. At this time, let's all enjoy our Norse singers under direction of Miss Beth Slimko as they perform their traditional senior final song, Friends.
To let you go. In the Father's hands we know that a lifetime's not too long to live as friends. Friends are friends forever, if the Lord's the Lord of them. Friends will not say never, 'cause the welcome will not end. Though it's hard to let you go, in the Father's hands we know that a lifetime's not too long to live as friends. No, a lifetime's not too long to live as friends.
Thank you, Ms. Slimko. You guys ready? Okay. As we transition into this next portion of our program, I would like to remind the audience that this is a formal ceremony. We ask that you hold your applause until each graduate has been honored. With everyone's cooperation, the audience will hear each graduate's name and the program will move along smoothly. However, after each graduate's name is individually announced, all are welcome to join in a Norris clap. I certify each of the members of the class receiving his or her diploma tonight have met the graduation requirement of the North Muskegon Board of Education and Michigan Department of Education. We will now present the diplomas to the members of the class of 2021. Reading the graduates' names this year is Senior Class President Hope Johnson.
Christina Ann Adams. Samantha Elizabeth Bierman. Joshua Thomas Beetham. Quinn William Bernal. Fallon Paige Brady. Charles Q. Branch. Leandre Lazarus Brown. Tatum Renee Brown. Calandra Iris Bungart. Kiara Lynn Cheney. Caleb Aiden Chase. Seamus Michael Corbett. Jordan Christopher Cordell. Caleb Robert Crawford. Alec Paul Cutter. Kayla Ella Annette Davies. Amarian Tayshawn Dickerson. Joseph William Duplessis. Robert Charles Eckert. Christopher James Ertman. Grace Katrina Earn. Cyan McCoy Fairfield. Emily Marie Gale. William Nord Gallo. Mary Jo Gongolski. Alexandria Nicole Goodwin. Greta Korista Goskowitz. Joseph William Green. Alicia Elaine Hall. Brendan James Harris. Merrick Rain Hendrickson. Matthew Stephen Herneman. Kennedy Ann Hoppe. Emma Marie Hausman. Austin Lee Hubble. Evan Blue Johnson. Lexiana Elizabeth Julin. Georgette Ann Kurzman. Amelia Nicole Kowalska. Megan Marie Crayley. Emerald Forrest Lawrence. Christian Matthew Lenius. Alexis Jade Livingston. Samantha Marie Madison. Andrew Jacob Mallon. Isabella Nicole Mallory. Alexa Ray Maynard. Caleb James McInnes. Megan Sue-Ann McKimmey. Brennan Todd McManus. Alexis Ilea Malash. Sarah Catherine Muzzy. Krista Marie Newville. Emily Elizabeth Olson. Brennan Thomas Panucci. Jacob Lee Perry. Aiden Noah Persicki. Roanna May Pollock. Gabriel Dale Rarig. Isabel Carlene Rake. Alex Lee Rexroth. Isabel Morgan Reynolds. Hudson Alden Richards. Elizabeth Grace Ripple. Ashley Elizabeth Robertson. Owen Kelly Rooks. Luke Christopher Rapp. Marcellus Anthony Rouse. Maxwell George Shear. Colin Ray Schatz. Riley Russell Schatz. Sophia Eleanor Schatz. Benjamin Nyblade Scoogens. Isabel Ray Smith. Ethan Clay Tennant. Jade Elizabeth Velasquez. Audrey Brooke Wilson. Aiden Arthur Workman. Isaac Arthur Workman. Mason Jane Zizak. Gabriella Namusake Ziombaza.
It is now my privilege to announce our final graduate, Class President Hope Johnson. All right, Hope, stay right here. Oops. And now, excuse me, and now Hope will lead her class in the symbolic changing of the tassel. All right, you guys got us here during this crazy year. I know you've been told this. Yes, you did. I know you've been told this a few times, but you're going to hear it one more. I appreciate how you handled this year humbly. You led, and I'm very, very proud of you. So thank you on behalf of a whole lot of Norsemen. Well done. As superintendent of schools, I'm pleased to accept the certification of requirements and recognize the class of 2021 as duly prepared to receive their diplomas for graduation from North Muskegon High School. Mr. Will Meyer, Board of Education President, and members of the North Muskegon Public Schools Board of Education, it is with great pleasure and pride that I accept this class, the senior class of 2021, as having completed all necessary requirements for graduation, and do now officially pronounce them the newest alumni of North Muskegon. Congratulations. Sarah, ring that bell.
Thank you all for coming. Have a great rest of your Memorial Day weekend, and go Norse.